Hey, my IBMOR brothers, here's one for you. Here's one for my conscious Pan-African folks. Italian Deputy PM calls on EU to sanction France for its continued colonization of Africa. Luigi Di Maio, leader of the anti-establishment Five-Star Movement and Italy's Deputy PM, launched a scathing attack on France, which he argued is to blame for the inherent causes of the ongoing migrant crisis at EU borders. The politician, who also serves as the Minister of Economic Development, referred to the CFA franc, a currency which is used in 14 former French colonies in West and Central Africa. There are dozens of African states in which France prints its own currency, the franc of the colonies. With that, it finances the French public debt. Di Maio said, adding that France should be subjected to sanctions by the EU and potentially the UN for impoverishing those states and triggering those people. If France did not have the African colonies, which it is impoverishing, it would be the 15th international economic power instead of among the first for which it is doing in Africa. France is currently the world's seventh largest economy, according to the World Bank data for 2017, and the third biggest economy in Europe after Germany and the UK. Di Maio said that his party would submit a proposal to Parliament to punish France in coming weeks. Now, there's another article, I'm going to read that one, but there's another article that France has actually summoned the French ambassador to actually rip him a new one for what Di Maio has said. But it is not new. We found this out back in 2009, I do believe, in a New Africa magazine. And we've been actually talking about it on and off for the last 10 years. But nobody in Europe said anything about it until now. Because in my opinion, Luigi is exactly right. This is what's causing the migrant crisis coming from Africa, because Quigley said in his book, Tragedy and Hope, that migrants follow money. If you do something to impoverish a country, say such as what the United States did to NAFTA back in the 90s, you're going to impoverish the country. Poor men especially, are going to try to survive. And if it means crossing a border or crossing an ocean to where the money is that you've taken, they're going to follow the money. Who said it was Deep Throat? Said that during the Watergate investigation. He told the Washington Post reporters to follow the money. And that's exactly what migrants do. They follow the money. You want to know why your migrants are flooding your shores, flooding your areas? Because you're where the money is. You're sucking all the money into your area, impoverishing where they come from. So if the state or the banking system, however you do it, the trade system actually impoverishes where you are and takes your resources and to enrich themselves, migrants have no choice but to follow the money, because that is where their resources have gone, and they're going to follow their resources. And I suppose Italy, which is closer to North Africa, where people cross, and also Turkey and other spots, like Greece and other places like that, where they're getting hit at the EU borders, they're absolutely right. They're 100% right, in my opinion. France has a very generous welfare system, a generous social system. And that is the reason you're having yellow vest protest right now. All this stuff is connected. I probably could go deeper, but I'm not going to, I'm going to drop little nuggets that you guys can follow. If you read enough, you research enough, Google is your friend, you'll find the answers, which is probably why Italy is stoking the yellow vest protest in France. The Europeans can never get along anyway. And they've always been at odds. The Gauls, which are the French, and the Latins, or the Romans, which are the Italians, have never gotten along. For 3,000 years, they've never gotten along. And these are just very old rivalries that spark up from time to time. But I have to side with the Italians. They have a right to protest. They have a right to be upset, because it is Italy that are getting the bulk of these immigrants. Even Soros said back a year ago that Europe should invest into West Africa because China's already invested into East Africa, but invest into West Africa so that the West Africans would stay put and you wouldn't have to spend all that money with immigrants coming into your country. Because I guess now there was more than enough immigrants to actually satisfy for whatever goals they had. Because I think it was like 10, 12 years ago, the EU actually wanted these immigrants to actually come into the country to kind of stabilize the population. So I guess now they had their fill. So now they want to stop the flow. But just want to drop this here. There's probably more coming because the World Economic Forum is in Davos for 4 days, and they're going to be dropping a lot of notes. Get ready for globalization 4.0 and whatever that's going to mean as they flesh out the details over the next year or so. So there's going to be an impact. We're going to feel something. There is going to be I wouldn't say a shift, but I should say an inflection point. Even in Klaus Schwab's opening address, he said 2019 is going to be a very, very decisive year. Earlier than I probably said it would be. I thought it would be 2020, but it's 2019. I guess we're at the elbow of the singularity. So what we predict will speed up. Everything that we think will actually speed up. So it's going to be very hard to predict time frames. Time frames will probably get even shorter than what we actually think they will be. But anyway, I'm going to jump off here. This is BGS out, and I will see you guys on the next. Peace.